Well, it's Thursday afternoon, and what do we do on Thursday afternoon? It's a vanilla bean recipe. Now, this is a tart. It has vanilla beans in the middle, and it has vanilla beans on the sauce that I put over top of the fruit also. So it's step by step. I'll have to let you know, you use a lot of pans because you're doing different things. But it is just scrumptious. The crust is crunchy. Then you have the softness of the filling, the taste of the vanilla plus all the fruits. It's really one of those that you could just eat and eat and eat. Let's go make it. So here's what we need for our crust. 3/4 cup of butter, 1/2 cup of powdered sugar, 1.5 cups of flour. We set our oven at 300 degrees, and it's going to take 30 minutes to cook it. So I'm going to start first with the powdered sugar and the butter. Now I want to make sure the butter is soft, room temperature, and we're just going to cream that first. Now once it is really creamed, then we can start adding our flour. And what it will change, instead of being creamy, it'll be very crumbly, and that's exactly what we want. So when it gets to that point of crumble, that's when we're going to put it in the pan. And you can use a lot of different pans. It is sprayed so it won't stick, and once it's all in there, I'm just going to take my fingers and press that down all the way around. And then it's going into the oven. Now for our filling, we're going to use a package of white baking chips, 1/4 cup of heavy cream, a vanilla bean, and an 8-ounce package of cream cheese. And it's important that the cream cheese, you've let sit on the counter for a little while. So I'm going to put the baking chips and the heavy cream on a pot on the stove, about medium-high heat to medium. You don't want it to cook too fast. You could do this in a double broiler, but it melts really fast, and as long as you keep stirring it, you'll be completely fine. Now after just about a minute, you can see it's starting to melt, and those chips will just melt beautifully. Now I have to put a vanilla bean in there, so I'm scraping that off, and I'm going to try to get as much of the seeds from that vanilla bean as possible. And you can see that the chips have all melted, and I'm just going to mix that in. Now the cream cheese I have in my mixing bowl, and we're going to pour this on top of there. And then we're going to mix it together. Now I didn't even wash out the bowl from the crust. You don't have to. There's just such little amounts left in there. And so we're just going to cream that. Now as soon as it's all incorporated, we'll just see this beautiful filling that it's making. And because of the vanilla beans, it's going to have a beautiful texture and color also. Now our crust, we just want it barely browned. So after 25 minutes, we just start putting our filling in, and that filling needs to go into the refrigerator for about a half hour. And so there's some other things that we can do in the meantime. Now for our sauce for our fruit, we're going to use 1/2 cup of pineapple juice, 1/4 cup of vanilla, and I'm actually using vanilla bean sugar, and I'm going to show you how I'm going to make that. And so I have my vanilla beans and just regular sugar. It's in my Vitamix, and we are just going to pulverize it. So it basically looks like powdered sugar. And every one of those vanilla beans are just ground up completely. And that's the kind of sugar that I want to use today. Now you can use regular sugar. So we have the powdered vanilla bean sugar, the pineapple juice, lemon juice, we're just going to squeeze about a teaspoon, and we have a tablespoon of cornstarch, and that will make it thick. So I have the pineapple juice, and there goes the sugar, and then we're going to put in the cornstarch, and I'm going to take a whisk, and I'm just going to mix that all around. And it doesn't take long before you can see where you couldn't see the vanilla before, you can now. And I just squeezed a little bit of lemon juice in there. I need about a teaspoon. As soon as it came to a boil, I took it off, and I just keep stirring it, and it just thickens up really nicely. Now this also has to cool, because you don't want to put that on your fruit. And so I'm going to put that in a bowl and put it in the refrigerator for a little bit. Now I like to use 4 to 6 cups of fresh fruit. You can just pile that fruit on. Today it's blueberries, blackberries, and strawberries, but whatever kind of fruit you want, it will work perfect. So we're just gonna slice up those big strawberries. My strawberries out in the garden are not at all even close. Now, my glaze is completely cooled, and I am just gonna pour that and mix that all through the berries. And it will just coat them beautifully, and you can really smell the vanilla. And then we're gonna take the tart out of the refrigerator, and we're just gonna spread it all over. And I kind of like to push it down into our filling, and it just makes a beautiful tart. Now remember, you can put this in any kind of container, pan that you want to. So I'm going to cut up a couple pieces for Joe and I, and so that Joe can be my taste tester. Well, you know, my official taste tester is here. He's going to judge how he likes the tart. Now, Joe loves blueberries, and there's some blueberries on there, so I'm sure he'll like that part. He's trying to decide where to cut into.
That's another good one, baby.
I'm waiting for the day he goes, you know, Sandy, I just don't really like that. Thanks, Joe.
Yep.
Now look it. I took it out of the center for mine and Joe's first piece. You can make these on a pizza pan, in a tart pan, in just a cake pan. It'll just come right out. It won't stick or anything. And it is just the pastry, the filling, the fruit, and especially the vanilla is just amazing combination. And you could use whatever fruit you want. I mean, I used blueberries, blackberries, and strawberries today. But depending on what would be ripe in my yard, I would put different fruit on top of there. You could put bananas, pineapples, seriously, any kind of fruit you wanted. Very tropical or very down to earth. But the whole complete texture of the different layers is just amazing. And you can smell that vanilla. It's fabulous. Now we also have to go see who our winner is of the 5 vanilla beans from last week. Now remember, if you want to win 5 vanilla beans this week, you have to subscribe to my channel. You have to like the video, watch it, and make a comment below. Of course, you have to live in the continental United States. But I did take off being 18 years old because maybe the Vineyard Girls might win sometime. So the computer is picking my winner from last week, people that made, oh, and Teresa is our winner. You just had to be a subscriber, watch the video, and make a comment, and that way you went into the drawing. So congratulations, Teresa. I hope you try this. I do keep it in the refrigerator. I cover it with saran wrap and keep it in the refrigerator after I've made it. It's fabulous. I will see you next week for another vanilla bean recipe.